she said. "Your new company is going to fail. I'm taking the Porsche." I replied by showing her the official SEC documents confirming the acquisition of her father's business. My company had just absorbed his entire failing operation. Her betrayal left her father financially ruined and her entire family exposed. I, Arthur, age 40, male, had been with Serena, age 35, for 8 years. I worked a public job as a senior forensic auditor for a large regional accounting firm in Chicago, Illinois. My visible salary was a stable $160,000 per year. I specialized in detecting large-scale financial fraud within corporate structures. Serena worked as a high-end art dealer, operating her own small gallery in the West Loop. Her income was commission-based and often highly inconsistent, averaging $90,000 annually. Our combined visible income of $250,000 was heavily allocated to maintaining a high-status Chicago social life. We lived in a $2,200,000 multi-unit brownstone property that I had purchased before we met. I drove a practical, fully paid-off Ford Escape SUV. Serena insisted on leasing a sleek, silver Porsche 911 Carrera S to maintain her affluent client image. We frequently dined at exclusive, theatrical restaurants like Smith for her necessary networking. Our social life was dominated entirely by her efforts to meet wealthy collectors. In mid-February, a pivotal career opportunity arrived that represented the convergence of my entire secret financial life. I was the silent founder and majority shareholder of Global Debt Solutions, a specialized asset restructuring fund. The fund required a public leader and was relocating its headquarters. I was offered the executive position of head of European debt acquisition. The new role was based in London, UK. The compensation was enormous and designed for executive control. It included a base salary of $420,000. Additionally, they offered an annual housing stipend of $80,000. The total annual cash compensation was a verifiable $500,000. I waited until we were relaxing in the brownstone living room before presenting the opportunity to Serena. I laid the financial documents on the ottoman. "This job is a complete professional elevation," I stated calmly. "It moves us to London with triple the salary," I explained, citing the massive financial increase. Serena did not even pick up the documents. She answered dismissively, "London is a dark, dull city, and you would hate the culture, Arthur. This is executive leadership for a global fund," I responded, keeping my voice level. She scoffed, the sound entirely familiar. "Head of debt sounds like glorified accounting work. It involves strategic acquisition of distressed assets globally," I answered steadily. She then focused on her own family's purported business success. "Your slow accounting will always be beneath my father's prestigious auction house." Her casual dismissal of my immense ambition and specialized skill confirmed my long-held strategy. Update 1. I quietly accepted the head of European debt acquisition position the next morning. My start date was set for the 1st of June, allowing 3 months for precise transition. I began preparing for the move and the inevitable separation without involving Serena. I knew any discussion would be unproductive and obstructive. Serena continued her pattern of repeating dismissive comments to our mutual friends. She often told her business partner, Dean, that my new job was a pathetic retreat. "Arthur is running to London because he cannot handle the high stakes here," Serena often said to Dean. Dean, who relied on Serena for art connections, openly sided with her. Our friends generally dismissed the move as a loss of cultural status. "Why trade Chicago for grey London bureaucracy, Arthur?" asked Chloe, a close friend. "I am moving toward decisive financial control," I replied factually. I initiated the final, critical steps of my private preparation. I established a new bank account in Zurich to hold my offshore investments. I quietly secured a high-end flat in London's Mayfair district. Crucially, I maintained close, confidential communication with Lena Petrova, the chief corporate lawyer for my fund. Lena was fully aware of my long-term plan. I directed Lena to begin the precise, legal process of acquiring the majority of the severely distressed commercial debt owed by Serena's father's business, Wallace Fine Art Auction House. Update 2. The climax arrived abruptly in mid-May, just before my planned departure. I had quietly received the final SEC filings confirming the acquisition of the debt. I waited until we were both in the brownstone living room to deliver the final word. "I am moving to London in 10 days," I stated simply. "The separation papers are also ready." Serena's face flashed with momentary shock, quickly hardening into rage. "You cannot move and ruin my family connections with this divorce." "The relocation and the legal filing are both finalized," I confirmed. "The course is set and non-negotiable." She launched into a furious confrontation, demanding I surrender a portion of my new salary and cancel the move. She claimed I was betraying her social life. "This is an absolute betrayal of my commitment to our image," she insisted loudly. "You consistently mocked my stability and intellect," I countered calmly. She then delivered the predictable ultimatum, believing the luxury car was the only asset she could successfully seize. "You must choose to stay, or I'm taking the Porsche," she demanded sharply. "Your new company is going to fail. I'm taking the Porsche," I replied by showing her the official SEC documents, confirming the acquisition of her father's business. My company had just absorbed his entire failing operation. Her betrayal left her father financially ruined and her entire family exposed. Update 3. The fallout was immediate and focused entirely on the betrayal's consequences for her family. Serena's demand for the Porsche was met with the complete financial collapse of her father's business. Her entire social and financial foundation was instantly erased by my strategic, legal acquisition. Serena immediately cycled through disbelief and intense panic. She sent me frantic, unintelligible messages demanding an explanation for her father's sudden ruin. "You orchestrated my father's downfall deliberately," she accused me loudly in a text. "I provided the necessary liquidity for a failing asset," I replied factually. She was forced to confront the separation and the massive financial damage to her entire family structure. She refused to acknowledge the reality, trapped in denial. My sister, Victoria, flew in to assist with the logistics. I remained calm and analytically detached through the rapid process. My focus was entirely on the high-level transition to London. My emotional state was stable and entirely focused on the future. Moving day arrived with a quiet finality. I shipped my few personal belongings to London. Serena was absent, dealing with the legal fallout surrounding her father's bankruptcy. I drove my old Ford Escape to the airport. My first detailed view of my new life in London, UK, was one of immense financial and strategic power. My new office, overlooking the city, felt significant. My apartment in Mayfair was secure and provided an excellent view. The work as head of European debt acquisition was demanding, intellectually stimulating, and immediately rewarding. Update 4. I was quickly thriving professionally in the high-stakes environment. The role required decisive leadership and analytical precision in asset restructuring. My team was highly supportive and respected my ethics. Socially, I embraced the city's stability and global reach. I connected with a new circle of friends, including an international banker and a political analyst. My relationship with Lena Petrova, the chief corporate lawyer who orchestrated the acquisition, deepened into a committed, supportive partnership. Financially, the $500,000 package was only the beginning. My strategic control over the acquired debt meant my personal wealth was accelerating quickly. I purchased a high-end, efficient Porsche Cayenne hybrid for my commute, focusing on engineering and stability, not image. My lifestyle improvement was controlled and focused entirely on sound investment. By late November, 5 months into the role, I achieved my first major milestone. I successfully managed the ethical liquidation of a complex, fraudulent asset within the acquired auction house portfolio. This success earned me a substantial mid-year performance bonus of $60,000. Serena's old network began reaching out with transparent curiosity. Dean, the art associate, sent me a tentative email. "I heard the auction house is completely finished, Arthur." Dean wrote vaguely. "Did you take any art?" "I managed the necessary corporate restructuring," I replied factually. "Chloe, the friend, Sent a message asking about the new leadership at my firm. They were clearly curious about the true scale of my success and Serena's sudden loss of social standing. I remained polite but entirely reserved. Update 5. In February, I cemented my professional success with a major public announcement. I was featured in a specialized finance journal, detailing my successful, ethical liquidation of the fraudulent assets. I updated my LinkedIn profile, clearly displaying my new title, Executive Director of Global Restructuring. This promotion confirmed my rapid ascent in the global finance sector. Serena quickly learned the full, non-negotiable truth about my status and the true scale of my power. She had mocked my new company, only to see it acquire and dismantle her father's entire legacy. She sent a series of messages, alternating between demanding explanations and emotional accusations. "You knew my father was vulnerable, you monster," she claimed furiously. I acted solely on verifiable financial instability. I responded with factual clarity. "You should have left me the lease on the brownstone." She argued illogically. "The brownstone was my pre-marital property," I countered. Dean, her friend, sent me an explicit apology email. He confessed that Serena had convinced him I was financially timid. "We feel completely foolish for not seeing your strategic power," he wrote. "My sister, Victoria, called me from the States. Your legal victory was absolute and necessary, Arthur," Victoria confirmed. Update 6. In late April, Serena visited London, claiming she was meeting a potential art investor. She contacted me, requesting a final meeting to discuss the future of the remaining assets. I agreed to meet her at a quiet, public business hotel cafe. When she sat down, she presented a practiced narrative of emotional growth. She claimed she had spent the last year realizing her life was too focused on social pretense. "I now value stability and intellectual strength. Arthur," she insisted softly. "I am pleased you have developed that awareness." I acknowledged neutrally. She insisted she had changed, but I referenced her past actions and the consequences of her father's collapse. I mentioned the public record of the auction house's dissolution. "Your family's lack of financial integrity was exposed," I stated calmly. "That was a difficult, unfortunate business decision." She tried to excuse it. I then referred to my new partner, Lena. "My new partner shares my commitment to ethical, verifiable finance," I noted. She insisted on returning, suggesting she could now be the perfect partner for an executive director. "I can be a brilliant corporate spouse here," she proposed quickly. I calmly declined the offer, explaining that the foundational trust was destroyed by her final, greedy threat to steal the car. "The breach of trust is absolute and final," I stated the fact. Update 7. Serena did not accept the decline gracefully. She attempted a brief, futile period of online retaliation. She posted anonymous claims on several financial forums, implying my acquisition of her father's business was a form of corporate manipulation. She claimed I was a ruthless debt collector. My lawyer, Lena Petrova, managed the attack with efficient legal documentation. Lena immediately sent a cease and desist letter to the hosting platforms. She provided certified third-party financial reports proving the legal necessity of the asset liquidation. The claims were removed quickly due to their defamatory nature. Her online claims failed completely. My colleague, Charles, a senior analyst, posted a factual rebuttal on the forum. He confirmed the ethical rigor and financial necessity of the restructuring. Serena lost all remaining credibility when the forums noted her comments were based on obvious malice. Update 8. 1 year later, my life was stable, profoundly successful, and deeply satisfying. I was the permanent executive director of global restructuring. My wealth was securely growing. I was in a committed, highly compatible relationship with Lena Petrova. Lena was intelligent, respected my privacy, and provided constant strategic support. Our life together was based on mutual respect and shared professional ambition. In June, Serena sent a final, short message. It was a brief email to my personal address. "I understand I chose the wrong partner and the wrong fortune." The email read, "I regret my monumental error in the valuation," she wrote, finally admitting the truth. I sent a short, professional, and final reply. "I wish you clarity in your endeavors," I wrote. I immediately blocked the address. The entire past conflict was completely and finally resolved. Final update. The following autumn, I was attending a major global finance summit in Zurich. While at a dinner, I was approached by Mr. Henry Wallace, Serena's father, the former owner of the auction house. He looked significantly older and entirely subdued. Mr. Wallace apologized to me, his expression solemn and respectful. "I need to apologize for my daughter's conduct and my own financial recklessness, Arthur." He admitted his own mistake in ignoring the severity of his business debt. He confessed that he had consistently dismissed my quiet, analytical career in favor of his public, failing ventures. "I wrongly taught my daughter to value vanity over verifiable assets," Mr. Wallace stated. "I regret that my failure became the catalyst for your revenge." He added honestly. I accepted his apology, acknowledging that his admission of error was significant. I explained that my actions were always driven by the necessity of defending my financial stability against obvious systemic risk. My reflection confirmed the final, enduring life lesson. Never allow perceived social status to blind you to absolute financial reality. I secured peace by calmly moving my career to a position of global power and ensuring my new firm acquired the very asset she sought to protect. The quiet, logical closure came from knowing my methodical, brutal revenge had secured both my professional future and an infinitely superior partner.